go. First off, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Nick Rouser. I'm the sheriff here for those of you that I have not met. I want to thank everyone that did come tonight. It means a lot to me just to be able to come out and educate yourselves and talk to me, ask questions. I'm going to go through a few things about this mill levy, and then if anybody has questions, I'm here to answer them. I ask you to come up to the mic here, that way everyone can hear. And then I have a copy of our budget up here. I know that that's been asked, so I do have copies. There's a lot of information in there, but if somebody wants to grab one to thumb through it, you're more than welcome to come up and grab it. Or I can have Mark run one around to you. So this is Mark Wood. He's the undersheriff. For those of you, Brandon Harris, he retired a couple months ago. Mark is the new undersheriff, so he's here to help just kind of support this, and I guess we'll kind of get rolling with this mill levy and kind of what the history is and what we're doing. So I'll kind of get into the history of about, we'll go a little bit past 5 years ago. We would fund, a major revenue of our budget was inmates from different counties. And it's an unknown source of revenue. We used to get inmates from Bozeman. They built a new jail. We were going to Helena. They fixed their jail. We were getting some DOC, which is Department of Correction inmates. When Cascade County was getting full, they started having some budget issues, so they're having to keep their inmates. We do still fund part of our budget with inmates, just to help lessen the burden off the taxpayer. So 5 years ago, we came to the public. Very good. We came to the public with a request. With the fact that it was just so hard to continue to find female heads for everybody. It was just getting very hard to continue to find inmates, and it was such it's just not a secure source of funding. So we came to the public, and it was voted in that we get a levy, and it was for 39.93 mils, and that was in 2020, June 2020. That, during that time, the public told us they wanted several things. They said they wanted more cops. They wanted us to start our reserve program so we had even more help. And then a major one of our issues is we weren't paying people a lot of money, so we would hire people, whether it's detention, dispatch, or deputies. They would come here, we would get them trained, and they would go somewhere else to make more money. So they wanted us to try to see what we could do to fix our wages. So we did all of that. Right away, we got 2 deputies off of a COPS grant, which is a federal grant. I can't remember the exact number because I did not apply for it or administer the grant, but it does not cover the full wage of a deputy. It only gives, I don't even want to say a number because I'll probably be wrong. But it gives it just a portion of what it costs a deputy, and then after 4 years, you have to fund that position 100%. So with the mill levy, we were able to do that. So those 2 positions are now fully funded. We also started our reserve program. We have 2 reserves. Well, we have 1 full-time, one that is like right on the edge of being sworn in. He's done a lot of the training, and he's almost there. So I'm going to assume within 2 weeks we'll be swearing him in. And then they wanted us to fix our wages. So detention, dispatch, and deputies, we got their wages up, and I would say our retention is a lot better. It's been really nice that I don't even know the last detention opening we had or dispatch. And it's just, I know Under Sheriff Harris, when he was there, he said he was up to about 200 people in his 20-year career come in and out of the office. And in the last probably 2 years, that has slowed way, way down, which is so nice. And it's nice for the public to be able to know who who's working for them, who your detention officers are, who your dispatchers, your deputies. Also with that mill levy, I'll try not to get, so mills are very hard to understand sometimes for the public. It's kind of a complicated process through the state. But as every year the state says how much our So as that mill levy grew, that's how I was able to hire the school resource officer position. That's been a year now that has been, in effect. Sergeant Tony Cordova, he's down in school every day, and then in the summer, he actually goes on patrol and helps patrol because we're so busy in the summer. Then we also have a position for the south end of Broadwater County. Excuse me, if you have not been down there, it is as fast as the north end up here is growing. It's growing probably twice as fast down there. So we have an open position. I am not wanting to fill that right now until this passes, because if this for some reason does not pass, I do not want to do that to a family. To have to lay somebody off or something like that. So if that passes, we're trying everything we can to get somebody down there to help out. And then with the 2 deputies that we got on the COPS grant, that's freed up people to get down there more and up here. One note for you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, there is now a deputy that lives on the north end of Broadwater County. I know 5 years ago that was people that said they would like to see a deputy live up here. It just is not something that we plan, but I don't, Deputy Chase Rasmussen, he lives up here off of Spruce Grove, and just moved in probably 2 months ago. So you guys, there is a deputy now up here, which is nice if we ever have something major happen or something, there's somebody right here to help on the north end. I'm going to get into a little bit about the structure of the office. It's kind of come up in the last month or so. So currently we've got on the patrol side, well, I'll start, we got 3 admins. We got myself, the undersheriff, and we have a captain. When we had an administrative assistant and she passed away, all of her duties got absorbed into the administration and our jail commander. So everybody does a little bit of what she used to do, and that is so we can get another deputy out on the road. So what we do every day is a little bit different for all of us. Mark spends most of his time paying bills and making schedules, and I do a lot of meetings, it seems like. But that's kind of what we do. And then we got 8 deputies. Well, we got 10 deputies, but 8 of them are on patrol. So that means there's only 2 deputies out at a time in Broadwater County. So our shifts are 4-10s. We got Sunday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Saturday. So we've got 2 on day shift, 2 on night shift on both ends is all. It used to be 1 on day shift, 2 on night shift, and it's just we were stretched so thin. And then we also have our SRO. He, like I said, he's in the school. I was talking to somebody the other day that they're asking how it's going, and I wish I could have like goggles on or something and for everybody to see what I see with that position. I watch Tony walk through school and I see little kids that I know have a troubled home life coming up and giving him hugs and talking to him. And I see him walking down with the junior high kids or falling down hallways, talking about everything under the sun the junior high kids talk about. I see him go to the high school and, it's the same thing. We see some kids that have a troubled home life. Tony's over there, he's, giving fist bumps to these kids. These kids are hugging him, and it's the relationships right now that he's building, and the fact that we have somebody in the school to keep those kids safe is something I don't know if we can put a price tag on. And then we also have a detective. The detective position's been around for quite a while. Currently it's Detective Michelle Frost. She spends 40 hours a week, if not more, investigating pretty much nothing but sex crimes here in Broadwater County. There's 1 to 2 probably on average reported a month. They take anywhere from months, sometimes they take a year. That one recently, that one was probably 3 years that case took to investigate from start to finish before he was sentenced. Very, very in-depth and not the funnest things to investigate without getting into too much detail with that. And I want to talk a little bit about, we also, to get into it, we got 6 dispatchers, and then we got 8 detention officers and 1 part-time employee. Part-time employee, he helps with transports. When our transport officer's busy, and he comes in on courts on Fridays at the end in case the judge needs him to do something, take somebody down to jail or anything like that. I was doing a little bit of research recently just about like why we need the deputies we have and kind of a little history of just what Broadwater County is now. In 22, our office ended with 482 cases. That is a case that a deputy, the call comes in dispatch, deputy takes the case, whether he arrests, he has to investigate, whatever it is. That's how many we had at the end of 22. At the end of 24, we ended with 609. So in 2 years, we've gone over 100 cases. That's about 61 cases per deputy per year. That is more than one a week. It can be quite a bit for just Broadwater County. I was looking, I think Mark was helping me look at the stats the highway has on how many people come through Broadwater County. And from what I could tell on their state's mapping system, a little difficult to try to navigate, but it looked like there was about 5,000 people daily driving on Highway 287. And then there's about an average of 18,000 going through I-90 down by Three Forks. If you don't know, there's probably about a 3-mile stretch of Broadwater County down there with I-90. And there's a Three Forks town pump down there and a couple other establishments that bring us probably too much business. We also, I was looking at the population of Broadwater County. In 2000, there was, this is from the Census Bureau, there's about 4,385 people. So, and then in 2020, when we got this mill levy, there was 5,600. So in 20 years, there was 1,600 people moved in. From 2020, with 5,600 people, to 2023, we now have over 8,000. And that was a year ago. I mean, and I know in the last year there's been more people build houses and move in. It's just that's the last year. One major thing I want people to know with this mill levy is it's already been paid. This was voted in 5 years ago. Any property owner in Broadwater County has been paying this for the last 5 years. So this is not it's going to show up kind of like a new one on the ballot, but it is to pretty much continue what we have. We are not raising the mills that we voted in last time. I am actually going to lower the mills 20%. So 5 years ago we had 39.93 mills. I'm going to lower that down to 31.95. I understand that, the city towns and their water rates got raised for the project. The counties, the solid waste fees got bumped up a little bit this year. The state's raising taxes, so I'm here to let people know I'm trying to do everything I can to keep what we have and maintain everything that we have with a little bit less. These last 5 years, it's been enough with the growth to keep up with the wage increases. The inflation is huge; it hits us too. I use, for example, I bought a truck. The taxpayer bought the truck that I drive in 22, and it's an F-150 with rubber floors. I paid it was $35,000. A year ago, we went to get 2 more because our other admin rigs were starting to get old, and they were right about 50,000. So, in 2 years or a year or whatever it was, the price increased $15,000 for us. There's nothing we can possibly do about that. We shop around for our patrol cars and we look for the cheapest ones we can find, and then we try to run them as far as we possibly can, but while they're still operating and safe. Another thing that's come up, we've talked about it. I've heard, well, why do they have all these new patrol cars? I put a video out of an incident that happened just up here a year ago with one of our deputies. We had an individual that purposely swerved into him, going anywhere from 95 to 102 miles an hour. And the fact that that deputy was able to walk out of that patrol car and he should have been killed in that accident. When you watch the video, you see the aftermath of that. And the fact that he walked out and he's still with us here today, that's why we buy the newer cars. We have another patrol car, you know, it has about 120,000 miles on it. That's something that I would drive. Actually, drive a truck with about 185,000 on it right now. We spent, I think it was probably close to $14,000-15,000 last year on just keeping that thing on the road. Just because, you know, these guys, if they get somebody speeding and they're going 85, you gotta go faster than 85 to catch them. And then they're slamming on their brakes and they're responding to emergencies. They're trying to get there in a safe manner, but in a fast manner to try to help people. So these cars, they get worn out fairly quick. We try to use them as long as we possibly can. We do take our older patrol cars once we buy a new one. We usually give them to the county, and they do different things with them. We give them cars to search and rescue so they can have vehicles to get around to help on searches. We give them to public health. We're getting ready to give one to I think it's going to the extension office. But so we try to keep those vehicles with Broadwater County so they're still being used to try to just save money for the taxpayers. If, very rarely we do just get rid of one, but we usually trade it in and try to get what we can. But yeah, so I just want people to know that the levy is already being paid for by property owners. I just would like to continue it to keep the services that we've built over the last 5 years. We've been able to get our wages up where we need to be, our equipment caught up, and we are now at a spot where I feel like I can lower it 20 mils, or 20%, lower that 20% and be able to keep everything that we currently provide. And then as the mill values grow, hopefully we'll, if we need to grow, we can. But, right now I feel that our staffing numbers they're adequate, they're where we should be. I know the stats say there should be about one person on patrol per 1,000 people. So we got 8 guys on patrol for about 8,000 people. And we got a detective and an SRO to help out too. Just to give you guys some numbers. So the total value of the new levy, or this to continue it with lowering at 20%, total is going to be $883,828. Doesn't mean much until you break it down to how much they're planning to have to pay. So the law says that you have to have in the ballot, and I got a road down here, but you have to be able to say what it's going to cost for a $100,000 house. I know there's not many of them around. A $300,000 house and a $600,000 house. So a $100,000 house is going to be $43.31 a year. A $300,000 house, $129.40 a year. And then if you go to a $600,000 house, it's $258.80 a year. You break that down, the $600,000 house, I think it's about $21 a month is what it will cost. And it's actually, that's lower than what everyone's currently paying right now. So, I don't want to take up too much time. I know how valuable everyone's time is, and everyone's probably been working today. But I'm here to answer questions. If anyone has a question, just come up to the mic, and I will do my absolute best to answer anybody's question.
Sorry about that.
You might need to step a little closer. I think Ken tried to just a little closer to the mic. I think he tried to turn it up.
But I appreciate you coming up here and explaining.
Yeah.
I worked for Belgrade School retired about 6 years ago, and I worked with bills and bond issues. Belgrade grew rather fast, and so did Broadwater County, and I appreciate you keeping on the edge of that, because if we don't have enough coverage with police, the community will suffer. And I know people that have doors kicked in Belgrade, and they have a really good police force. And, the more we grow, things like that will happen. But I appreciate sounds like you're keeping on the edge of where we should be going and what we should have. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I know that obviously the more people, the more crime. I mean, it's just the way it goes, unfortunately. And the way Broadwater County, at one point, we were right at first or second fastest growing county in Montana, and I thought, and Debbie might be able to nod her head yes or no, that we were one of the fastest growing counties per capita, so you gotta understand that, in the nation. So it doesn't, the numbers don't seem like a lot, we're not dealing with 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people, but for little Broadwater County, in 20 years, it's basically doubled. So unfortunately with that, brings more issues for us. So, somebody else have a question? That's the whole thing, it's the whole packet. It's kind of complicated, and I don't know if it's complicated, but there's a lot of numbers in there, but yeah, it's public information, you can look through it. If you have any questions on it, then go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Sheriff. And, like Richard, I appreciate you being here. This is very important. Your transparency with this organization means a lot to me personally. Couple of questions for you. The numbers you provided, that was for the new mill levy impact, correct?
Yes, the ones per house, like a $300,000 house.
Yes.
Yes, that is for the one, for the levy that's coming up.
So what was the impact prior?
I did not bring that with me. Yeah, it would have been 20%. Well, that's kind of hard. That might not be.
So mills slide.
Yeah.
And as you know, and I'm just curious where we were at, and what we're going to.
So yeah, I don't have that number. I can get it for you.
Okay.
I would have to go back. We can get it. I don't know what the mill values used to be. The current mill value, I mean, it hits, you sound like you understand mills, is $27,662 and some change. I want to say 5 years ago, it was under 20,000. So that's how we were able to get a couple new positions when that rose that much. That's how we got the SRO and that other position down south. And then now going and crunching some numbers, I know I can lower it.
This is what it was last year.
Yeah, so last year,
The voting mills brought in.
yeah, the voting mills brought in $1,103,761. And it'll be down to $883,000.
You're right, so you are reducing the impact.
Yes.
So I'm kind of a big proponent of long question. And my concern is that it's harder to get money back once you give it away than to maintain that.
Yes, and I've had that question a lot. I've had a lot of people tell me to keep it the same, and I appreciate that, and I understand. I know that the mill values are going to continue to grow, especially because Broadwater County is going to continue to grow. So I'm hoping that we will be able to stay up with that. I don't. To be honest with you, without getting emotional, I look at like my grandparents, and they're retired and everything they've been through, and I see the struggle they sometimes have just to pay taxes because the water rates in the city of Townsend just went up, and and the taxes for the homeowners the last couple of years has gone up tremendously, and I understand that, and I'm trying to put forth. I feel like a lot of times. Try to not get myself in trouble. My entire life I've heard politicians say all these promises, and they never, sometimes they do them, but a lot of times all it is they just run in their mouth. And I'm trying to be the one that is transparent. I want to do everything I promise to do, and I want to put my best foot forward with making sure that I'm not taking any more than I possibly need from the public. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Mark's been sitting in his office these last probably 2 months with the calculator and the budget and trying to see where we're at. And looking at the budget, there are a few things where we can lower the stay with our cost of livings and, you know, and stuff like that, so. And then this would be a 5-year mill levy again, so maybe in 5 years if things are, you know, where we need more or something, I understand you have to come back and ask for more, and I know you're saying it's harder to ask for more, but, I just feel that we will be comfortable right now at the lower end 20%, but.
All right, very good, thank you.
Sheriff, a few things. First of all, is the county self-insured when we lose a vehicle like that, collision down here? Are we out of pocket on that, or do you have an insurance company?
So, yeah, we're insured through MACO, Montana Association of Counties.
Okay.
So, that incident where that deputy was hit, thank God, you don't see this all the time. The other vehicle was a company vehicle that had insurance.
Yeah.
So they were able to, they paid for the replacement of that. Obviously you lose the, you know, your depreciation and all that. They're not gonna turn out and pay full price for a brand new vehicle that we had to come up with. But yes, we are insured through MACO.
Another thing too, let's try it. What is the percentage of the law enforcement budget, compared to some of the other, county outlays, like, the dump? You know, what percentage at? Because I suspect that if we have that laid in front of us, maybe at the beginning of a meeting, we would realize that probably our most urgent expenditure is one of our smaller ones. Am I right?
I cannot answer that.
Maybe
Unfortunately.
we could have that next meeting?
Yes, or we will get it and call you with that.
Yeah.
Or I can even put it out on Facebook or whatever works best for you. But we can call you after the meeting. I'll get your number.
Yeah, my underlying concern shows up in the third question is, or my skepticism that the number of deputies that you think are adequate. Because you and I know that it'd be so easy to knock 2 guys out of action with a strained back, wrestling with a drunk, or this car wreck. Your deputy was down for how long? So that adequate protection can be diminished almost overnight. And I'm concerned when you talk about a minimum coverage of 2 guys on a shift. One is at Wheatland and one is at the silos, and one can't break away for another. It's just too problematic. And a sick leave day changes that overnight. So that's my point is, I don't know if for an urban environment, I think that 1 per 1,000 is a legitimate number. But in rural areas, I don't know if I buy that. And I'm very much concerned that a guy has an adequate cover unit within a reasonable distance. Because not only are they a serious investment, I don't know if we really want to have the kind of heartache that we did over the last 10 years. Losing the highway patrolman, losing more. It's hard on the community. So I think a strong argument can be made in the future that we rethink this manpower status, because I think that's more suitable for an urban environment. And I think we need to take care of our people. Okay?
Thank you. No, I understand exactly where you're coming from. Our deputy that was hit is still out on light duty, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's been a year of him fighting with work comp, trying to get healed up. He just had surgery on his foot that, as far as I'm concerned, if he would have private insurance, that would have been done a year ago. But he just got that done. He has hopes coming back, but we don't know. Another one's gonna have a knee replacement here soon. So I know exactly what you mean.
What's our situation with allied agencies being able to provide fill for one of our guys?
Well, we do use our reserves once in a while to cover shifts. So they can cover a shift, but they have to have a full-time deputy on. But, you know, we have one, his name's Brian Morgan. He covers shifts quite a bit.
But I'm thinking maybe like highway patrol,
So,
fish and game, allied agency for that guy in Wheatland.
yeah, so, you know, we do have a good relationship with Gallatin County. If there is something going on down on the south end, they will, if we don't have anyone close, they send somebody over until we get somebody there to take over. They get there to take control of the situation. As far as highway patrol, that's yeah, they're around once in a while. Townsend, for some reason, is I don't really know why, but when we left a couple, or when like Marvin Reddick, Cal James left, it's been very, very difficult for highway patrol to keep people here. We had one here and he's gone. Right now it's empty. I don't know exactly why that is. They come and help us whenever they can, you know, but they're most of the time in Helena or Bozeman. But if they have somebody around, we call them, they will back us up. The fishing game is the same way. Fishing game though, from my understanding, they're trying to get away from doing too much county things. They're trying to focus on their mission. If we call them though, they will, and they're around, they come and help us. And then, we do have, you know, we call our deputies out if somebody needs help, like in that situation you described. If somebody's in the silos and somebody's down south and one of those two needs help, we call the deputy out to get there. So I get called out. I've been called out in the middle of the night to go back up guys or to go help Miscus things, you know. But that's what I'm there for. I know Mark, same thing. You know, he's gone out and called our captain. One thing with our detective is that we utilize her if when we do get low on numbers, you know, she goes out and works patrol shift. It gets kind of hard trying to keep up with her investigations, but we try not to do that long term. But she goes out and helps. But when I say adequate, I mean it's like we're good. We could always use more. I'm never going to deny that. We could always use more. It's just the cost of more is there's a whole machine behind a deputy that people don't, you see the deputy, but there's a car, there's a computer in the car, there's internet in that car, there's printers in that car, there's a mapping system on that thing that shows dispatch and other people where they're at, so if something bad happens, they need help or they know where to go to get somewhere fast. Behind that, there's, you got health insurance and work comp and all these other aspects. You get into the office and we got a records management system. We got little things like emails and policies, and there's this whole, and I usually forget about half of it when we hire a new one, but there's this whole working unit behind just the deputy that I don't think people sometimes, you don't see it, so you don't know it. You just see the face of the deputy driving around, but there's, so it can get expensive. I want to say it's about $100,000 per deputy right now, and that's just to keep a deputy a year. That's not the cost of another car and the gun and the vest, and we do things like our vests. They're $1,800 just for a vest. They expire every 5 years. We apply for grants, but they give you just a little portion of that back. Our firearms, you got to turn around and buy it. We don't carry super fancy firearms. We carry blocks, 9mm. There's so much. The uniforms. I mean, I don't know. What we pay when we get in. Yeah.
It's a few $1,000s worth of that.
Yeah, and then to send like a new guy to the academy, that's $4 or $5 grand. And there's so much to it that people don't see. But I understand what you're saying, and I
Well, I hope you understand I'm on your side.
oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that it would be good for the average taxpayer to have a comprehension of that. I mean, I would say, if I was making a
No, I completely understand what you're saying. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things, I understand that we're gonna need to grow as Broadwater County grows. Depending on that whole south end, it's hard to say what's gonna happen down there, it's insane to me how many houses are down there. You know, and eventually there may be a whole new substation of Broadwater County Sheriff's Office down there, you know, we may have 5 or 6 deputies that just work down there, you don't know. I'm sure this legislative session is gonna change some of that, but, 'cause I know a lot of the buildings slowed down with a lot of their water issues and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm sure they'll figure it all out this next couple months, so. But yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, I hear you loud and clear.
Appreciate your pure motives, but on the other hand, we all know it costs something.
Yeah,
And, I'd much rather have, 2 or 3 more deputies than 2 or 3 more, guys at the dump wanting to look at my truck. Serious.
I think there's a lot of that same sentiment, and there's a lot of people in this, you know, I've dealt with it, and heard this from other people as well, that there's a lot of stuff that we're like, hey, we're members of this community too, how come we're not getting, you know, I've got this issue, and I get told, take it through the court system, that's a civil issue, that's a civil issue, that's a civil issue, and there's stuff like, investigation with children and stuff like that that just gets blown off and get told, well, that's a civil issue, we don't have time. So, I agree with this young man, you know, having that extra deputy or two to try and look into some of this stuff is paramount.
yeah, and I understand, and I don't, I'm not gonna get, I don't wanna air all that out, but, there is, you know, some of them issues that we don't, the civil side of things is not our realm, we can't enforce civil things, that all gets done through, unfortunately, attorneys. And it's crazy to me, cause they're expensive, but that's just the only way to work that side of it. There are certain things that we just have no legal ability to enforce civil action, you know?
But the problem is there's nobody that enforces that stuff. And I, you know, a person can't go to the court system without documentation that this was even, you know, even a call for service.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I know, cause I know how it works, I know just trying to get a judge to look at it is sometimes impossible, but we experience the same thing on the criminal side of things, you know, we'll put forth criminal investigations that, you know, attorneys don't see it or whatever, and they dismiss it, or, you know, or judges give off a sentence that's not maybe what we think should happen. But I guess that's the whole separation of government, so. But I know what you're talking about, and if you wanted to talk about it, not in front of everyone, I'd be more than willing to sit down with us. Does anyone else have any questions, or?
It'll tip out.
Might have to pull it down. There you go.
I'm Cindy Christopher, and I just have a couple comments. I agree with this gentleman, but from the data you gave us, we're basically saying this, if you look at the census and stuff, our county's growing about 1,000 people a year. So we're about 600 people a year. In 5 years, this levy will be expired at that time. So at that time, we kind of need 3 more deputies or people in your shop. I have a concern by lowering what you're asking for, you're not gonna be able to have those with all the equipment, et cetera. And so I think you really need to reconsider that, because we're, as you had mentioned, we're only growing. So to maintain the level of service we have now, we're gonna need about 3 more deputies or people within the next 5 years. The other question I ask is, what kind of grants are you applying for, or do you have a grant person to do that, and what's available to help support you?
So as far as the grants, law enforcement grants are very limited. You know, you have the cops grant, but you apply for it, if you've ever dealt with the federal government's grant system, it is unbearable, and we still have $90,000 locked up in the ASAP account from those grants that we got 5 years ago. You know, so we're trying to get that out, we can't get it out just because of their system. It's getting worked on, hopefully we get it out soon, but it's nobody's fault in the county, it's all the federal government. I mean, everything is so impossible, click here, do this, nobody's there to help you. So as far as grants for personnel, there really isn't a lot. There is that COPS grant, but you, in 4 years, have to have that fully funded, so you kinda have to have a plan on how you're gonna fund that. You know, there is grants like, you know, our vest grant, you know, every time we buy a vest, we apply for it, but once again, it's a federal government, grant, and it is, sometimes sometimes you get money, sometimes we don't. It's tough to deal with, but there's not a lot of like grants for personnel, and that's the probably most expensive and reoccurring cost that we experience. You know, you might be able to get grants for equipment or something like that, but you know, it's just hard to, there's not a whole lot out there. As long as you don't use it to swing at them.
I'm Ernie Nunn, just live right down south here, a little bit. We're proud of the sheriff's office and all the officers in Baltimore County. You treat us well, respect us, and you guys are doing a good job down there, I just want to tell you that. And I'll tell you, the other thing though, is, I worked at the school system down here for a long time. What you guys have done for our school system, number one, is respect for the law. That's not true over the country right now in a lot of places. Y'all know that. I mean, some of these kids growing up through the system don't respect the rule of law and what's going on. Our kids do. We're proud of that, and thank you for doing that. I've got a couple of 3 concerns I'd like to share with you. And I call it recruitment and retention. It's because I agree with the comments that's coming out of here right now. We get a good officer in here, we get him trained, and he's rolling, and he come out of the academy or whatever it is, and all of a sudden he gets another job offer out of this country in Baltimore County. And y'all know that they can move and make more money. And money drives the system sometimes. So the gentleman, I got the message from some of the folks that's talking, don't cut yourself short of the support that you've got in this county to do some stuff. And let me tell you, what's really bothering me right now is, some of my, contacts is, law enforcement. Watch where you go and watch what you do now in Montana. I never thought I'd hear that. Never thought I would hear that somebody is telling me in law enforcement, if we go out in the mountains or downtown buildings or had a border patrol officer shot last week and killed by 2 drug runners across the border. That's just starting up here. And what's going on back in the eastern part is getting worse yet. But Montana, to me, is wide open for this kind of operation that's going to move from the southern border up to here. I look at Highway 287, and we've been, me and Carol moved down here in Roanoke almost 40 years ago. And Highway 287 is a quarter that we got a lot of trash coming down through here now. And y'all know that. I think you're involved in some of it. And some of these folks, and I've seen, I had an eyewitness of 4 Haitians down here that's pound pump that couldn't even speak English. Well, what are they doing in Montana? It's cold up here. They don't like it cold.
I don't either.
And I bet, well, I guess what I'm suggesting, this 287 corridor is not going to get any better for you. And some of the workload, if I get going too much here, just shut me down.
No, you're fine.
And I want to talk about your workload a little bit. Is you guys are very involved, not just in one, but the fires. The fire that's going on in our national forest right now, sometimes takes a lot of your time. And I'll tell you one of the things I would do, and I could even help you with that. I would go sit down with all these 3 federal agencies that you deal with. The Forest Service, the BLM, and the Beagle Water. And I would go through those agreements that you've got on law enforcement, and I'd make sure they're cutting their fair share, because they don't have any law enforcement officers down here in Butler County. Just like you mentioned, maybe the highway patrol kind of doing it. That's true of a federal agency. You guys are covering over hundreds of thousands of acres of federal land. And you're responsible. I'll tell you what, something happens down here at the side of the old campground, who are they gonna call? 911. Guess who responds? And that ain't gonna get any better. And I guess all I'm saying is, maybe on this mill levy vote, I don't know how this is working out. I'm not into that stuff, but give us an option. Maybe you're cutting 20%, maybe we don't want you to cut it 20%. I don't know. If that's an opportunity, give us an option to vote on that. And I just want to say thanks to you for coming up here and sharing some things. I know more about what you're headed right now to do, but I think what you're hearing, everybody that I'm hearing, don't cut yourself short on what you're looking now to the future of your workload. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Ernie. You have a lot of statements in there. I'll try to remember a couple of them. As far as retention, like I said, it's been way better. We actually have 2 guys that actually came from Lewis and Clark County. One of them came and he liked it so much that he called his buddy and he did. So I would say a part of that is a healthy work environment, you know, good equipment, in which I think that's something that we're striving to provide. We have good equipment. We got our trainings. Right now, we pretty much, if a deputy wants to go to a training, we send them. Because that's how they learn, that's how they get better. So if they're interested in something, we send them. We have guys that are interested in drugs, we send them to drug training. We have 2 guys right now that have canines, that are full patrol dogs. They track, they're searching for drugs, and they protect their animals. They'll bite somebody if they need to.
Well, okay, thanks for having an officer again to keep me out of trouble with this.
I don't know if I did very good the other day. But yeah, that's, and as far as the school, I don't know when it started coming into my mind, but the older I get, the more I realize how precious these kids are. And that sometimes they don't get what they need at home. And it's heartbreaking sometimes to see kids that, can't afford lunch, they don't have coats, we go to calls just don't know if you see a lot of it in certain places. I think it's because a lot of places are so busy. Buildings, you know, Bozeman, Helena, you know, they can't get involved in some of this stuff. It's just that they're just working, just run, call. But, you know, these kids, it's, you know, I see it with like Tony down at school, and I go through the school, just the fact that they can come up, so it started a couple years ago. I was dropping my kids off at school, and I thought, man, it's start school, let me walk around school, just see how things are going. Well, most of the kids there just kind of like side-eyeing me and looking at me like, what is this guy doing here? By the end of that, so I started thinking like, man, why are these kids so nervous around me? If I'm not wearing this uniform, I can talk to them, you know? So every morning I started walking through there just saying hi, just to see how things were going, by the end of the year, I was getting graduation invites, kids talking to me about it, you know, and that's what the whole school resource officer was. I'm like, we need somebody in here, because I can't be in here enough, so we need somebody in here, and then if something bad happens, we got somebody that's right there that can take care of the situation, so, yeah. But it is, and I see it every morning. Every morning I walk to the school, I see, like I said, little kids come up and give me a hug, come up and give him a hug, and, you know, you just see something. I gave her, talked to him this year, I said, hey, we do alcohol compliance checks, the state gives us a little bit of money. But basically, Tony sets those up, so we just give him the money for his school resource officer program. So why don't you go down to the Mercantile and get some, just ice cream cones, like certificates. If you see a kid that, you know, stands up to a bully, or a kid that drops something and somebody goes and gives it to him, go reward them for that and just help create those good relationships and encourage just good human behavior that I think is starting to diminish in this country. So, does anyone else have any questions or?
So I am just curious, if you're able to go from 1 million to a reduction of 800,000, do you currently have an excess of cash from the last levy that's contributing to the reduction or funding the reserve?
So, the way they encourage us to have 33% in our cash, and we were there, and then we also have CIPs. I think we got 3 of them, but they're for vehicles, equipment, things like that. So if we have extra money, whether it's extra jail revenue, at the end of the year we put that into those. And then, so they are built up right now. And those things are for rainy days. The deputy got hit down there. If you ever dealt with an insurance company, it's not quite as bad as federal government, but it's almost there. But we had to get a car, you know, so we were able to get out of CIP, buy a car, and get that, and then just replenish the CIP when that money came in. You know, if we ever have a bad situation like Mason or something like that, God forbid that ever happens again, but, you know, that situation, the car had to be bought right away. You know, that vehicle is still in evidence. It can't be released, you know, it's been quite a while now, it's still sitting in evidence along with a lot of equipment and stuff like that, so those are what the CIPs and the cash are for rainy days, or, you know, the cash also is for when, before taxes come in, you know, you draw down on your cash, and then when the taxes come in, it replenishes that. So, if that makes sense. So, yeah, we do have, you know, the last 4 years that's been, or 5 years, that's been able to get built up. And I will publicly praise Brandon Harris for doing that since he became under sheriff. So he took that office that was in the negative on everything and helped get everything to where it needs to be. And then the mill levy 5 years ago helped out tremendously. So, and then that's kind of like I said, where we're able to cut some of that, is because 5 years we've been able to get more staff. You know, essentially 5 years we've got 4 people. You know, so and we've been able to get our equipment up to par, and you know, our tasers. We have something. I guess I'll talk about it. We have several less than lethal options when we're dealing with people. So instead of just a firearm, we have tasers, and we have, they come out with tasers like they do in cars, but, we got probably top of the line tasers right now. We got, it's called polo wrap, it's a long string with, weighted, like basically treble hooks at the end, and it shoots out like a, I think a 38 cartridge, and when it shoots out, it'll wrap around somebody, so it'll wrap around like their arms to hold them or their feet. And we also just got a 40 millimeter less than lethal, I don't know what you call it, it's just, we call it full mic, but, it's a less than lethal foam round that, we can use that as to, if we have to try to get somebody to comply or something, and it's a dangerous situation for approach, you can use that, to shoot a foam round at them to get them to comply instead of going straight to a firearm. So, we've been able to get a lot of this equipment less than lethal just to try to keep people safe as we possibly can over the last 5 years. So, I hope that answered your question. Somewhat? Okay. If you have more, just find me afterwards. I'm sure. Yeah, no, our CIPs, they go up and down. We'll put money in them and then buy like our ammunition out of there, our firearms, vehicles, it's kind of confusing. So our budget last year, we tried something that just didn't work. We put a line item in there for $140,000 for 2 new vehicles. I'm gonna take that out, so that's part of where I'm saving. And then as excess money comes in, we're just gonna put in our CIPs, and when we have the money for a new vehicle and we need one, we're gonna just buy it out of the CIPs. Like, that's how we've been doing it forever. So we're just gonna go back to that way because it's a little easier. So. Does anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns?
Would you be able to use some of that money?
Can you come up with a mic?
You talked about that, grant to get more officers, can't you set a line item? Cause you said that you, like the grant for getting more officers, can't you set aside and start building that budget to fulfill that grant?
You can set aside only, so much, because eventually that's gonna disappear. You basically have to have at least $100,000 a year, with that grant. It's always something that we can reapply for. At the time we did it, the commission, I can't remember the exact number, I wanna say they contributed like $75,000 out of, I think it was bill money, to help maintain that until we were able to basically grow with it and fit it into the budget. So that's always a possibility. Yeah, but we can't spend CIP money on personnel stuff. They're very specific to what they're for, vehicles, weapons, stuff like that. So they're very specific on what you can and can't spend on those. But there is the possibility of being able to find money somewhere potentially and set that for another cost grant to get more people. That's always an option. It's just, I always said when I ran for sheriff, I said that was my plan to get a South End deputy and school resource officer. Thank God the mill levies or the mill values increased enough where I could just hire them because, like I said, we still have $90,000 locked up in that ASAP account because Broadwater County only has one tax ID number, and at the time, the gal who runs the weed department had a federal grant, so she had the ASAP account. Well, her grant's expired, so she got her ASAP account expired, and then Brandon tried to get in there and get it, and he couldn't get it because she wasn't there to give him permission. And then now we got Debbie Kelly is working on trying to just get it for us, but it's complicated. But we still got 90,000 locked up in there. But. Anything else? I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I appreciate you guys for coming, asking questions, talking. It's kind of disheartening. disheartening sometimes trying to get people to come to things and ask questions and talk, so I appreciate you guys so much for coming down tonight and talking to me and asking questions and offering different outlooks on things, so, it means a lot to me. I plan on having a couple more sets of meetings, for people who didn't make it tonight. We did have a, live stream to the county's YouTube page, so if people wanna go watch it, or if you wanna tell people to go watch it, you know, if you guys want to spread the word, about getting involved in more meetings, I'm gonna try to do some Facebook Lives to talk about just where we're at with things, what we have, just try to educate people as much as we possibly can, be transparent about what we have there. I also do, tours of our office. I haven't done them for the last few months because nobody's showing up, but February I'm gonna start those up again. We'll probably stick on the same schedule. It was the second Wednesday of the month was at 2 p.m. and the fourth Wednesday of the month is at 6 p.m. So different people can make it. Takes about 2 hours. We usually try to show stats where we're at with through the jail, dispatch, detention, show videos of things we deal with here, because I don't think people fully understand about what these deputies go and deal with almost every day. So the way they're treated by people and the things they see and experience. We just had a guy 2 weeks ago that was down in front of the Mustang waving a machete around. So, he was in jail. So, you know, stuff like that happens often around here. So I guess we'll. Have they been involved with this whole mill levy and everything? Yep. So we started having talks, so when this last mill levy went in, there was, without getting too much drama, but there was worry that if there was a mill levy voted in, the commissioners would just take more money from us on the back end. So they created a resolution 5 years ago that said they will commit 34.4% of the county mills, you know, and those go up and down, to the sheriff's office. And the resolution that I think it just got finalized today, has that same language in it. It's something we've been talking about, we try to figure out a solution and how we can help each other. But they committed the 34.4% to continue to help us. Every year they help us with PIL and state entitlement money when that comes in. So I will say that they've been it's been nice, because it wasn't always like that, but it's been nice these last 5 years or so, just 5-6 years of just everything's been pretty smooth and we've all gotten along. You know, we got a body scanner down in the jail, because we used to have to do strip searches on people when they came in. And that was not real good for the people at being strip searched and people having to give it. And there's things that just get missed because you can't, you know, we had a young lady that almost overdosed. Well, she did overdose in jail. Thank God she survived, because it just was not found. And it wasn't the fault of nobody. So the commissioners bought us a body scan, you know, to help with that. Also helps with lawsuits and things like that. But you know, it's a big giant X-ray machine. It's I think it was $135,000 or something like that. But they were able to. They just bought it for us, you know, out of the kindness of their heart. Recently, we just had we have a meeting right now. We pay for I think 3 storage units, where we have cars in them right now that are evidence. And when we search cars, we bring them down to the office. Sometimes you can't get a hold of people to come get, you know, because they're usually in jail or they're running because they think they're going to go to jail. And you can't get a hold of them to come get their cars, so then we end up having to put them somewhere. If you go down towards the Cedar Street dump, there was that blue building kind of right off to the left that wasn't getting used. They help helped out through PILT and whatnot to help, we had to purchase it through the, what's the name of that?
It was the, we purchased it from them.
Yeah, it was had to do with solid waste.
Enterprise fund.
Yeah, the enterprise fund.
That's it.
So they purchased it, so we basically purchased it from them, but then they gave us extra money to help. We just added on, we doubled it. We're waiting on, the fencing company to come in. We're gonna fence it off, we're gonna put cameras up. And then we can go put, you know, evidence, we can pull cars in there and search them. Cause unfortunately, we seize a lot of cars and search them for drugs, things like that. We'll have a place to go, we'll have a place to store vehicles. Other evidence, we also have like a couple of reserve vehicles. And that's another reason why we have new cars, and there's, you know, people see all these new cars, is we've never had, like a pool of cars if one goes down. So there was times where like if you didn't have a car, cause it was in the shop for 2 weeks, you would have to go borrow this guy's car and put all your stuff in it, and then he needs it for work, so you gotta go jump over to this guy who's not working, borrow his car for a couple days. And it's just a shuffle of cars, and we never had an extra one. And since we started the reserve program, right now we have 2. We should, and then hopefully we'll have 3 here soon. To where right now a vehicle goes down, deputy will jump in one of those extra cars and put their stuff in it and roll. We don't have to interrupt the flow of anything. I'm gonna have a extra canine rig too soon. So if a canine rig goes down, we have a fully outfitted extra car for a canine, because those things are pretty high tech with the cooling, the temperature monitoring systems in there. It'll kick windows down, fans on, if it gets too hot, and they're pretty impressive, but, so.
And the pool cars are older, used cars. We didn't buy
Yeah, those are not new cars. So once we get an older car, you know, that's getting up there in mileage, you know, the one we just put $15,000 into, we're gonna put that back in, because we just spent $15,000 on getting that thing, keeping it going, so you might as well try to, you get the money out of it, so that'll go back into, as an older vehicle, you know, that just is there in case somebody goes down at work. If we have somebody that, you know, like this incident up here with Deputy Reynolds, you know, if he was able to go back to work, we got an extra car they can jump in, so. All right, well, like I said, I don't know how much you guys, I can express enough how much it means that you guys came here and talked and expressed, you know, your feelings and how much it means to me. I know Mark, and just, I feel discouraged at times, like I said, that people, it's easier to just get on Facebook and complain about it instead of educating and coming and talking to me. I'm always open to talk. You know, people come in, call me, email me, whatever. So to come here and just listen to what I have to say and ask questions, it means a lot. So thank you guys. I'm not gonna hold up anymore. At the end of the table here, so right now we have a survey out, just to try to get more input from the, public. If you wanna take the survey, it's just a QR code. You just gotta scan it with your phone. It'll bring up the website. If you want to take, there's like 5 questions, so it shouldn't take more than, I think, 1 minute. So if anyone wants to do that, there's a QR code for it. So thank you guys. Have a good night.